welcome you again to the InterFaith Truth Center's Sunday morning gathering, spiritual gathering. We are here every Sunday at 11 o'clock to, in this, to share, to gather and share, to reminisce on the things that have happened in the previous days before now, and get a little bit of something, a little bit of to move us into what is yet to come. So welcome to InterFaith Truth Center. It's good to be here. It's good to be in the house this morning. And I welcome visitors. And I say hello to my family. Love you. And love you if you're out there. So this morning, the title of my message this morning is Creator's Gift of Emotion and Feelings. And we think they're one and the same. I tell you, they're not. You can't have one without the other for the most part. But there's a little bit of a difference between the two. We're not going to get into the scientific or the psychological definition of it so much today, but I just want to point that out to you, that we all have emotions, and we all have evidence of that emotion is feelings, basically. I'm going to mention again our word for the week, or our thought for the week. And it's from Neville Goddard's book, The Feeling. And I would recommend that book if you are interested in improving your power and ability and skills and know-how to manifest the things that you desire in your life, the things that you want in your life, rather than, oops, this is what I get. Because you are, by default, creators. You're going to create, you're going to manifest. Whether you intentionally, purposefully, with direct focus and attention to do it, or if you're just by default, you're just going to get it. Like Urkel say, oops, did I do that? Yeah, you did it. Absolutely everything that happens in your life, everything that you experience, everything that you have, you at some point in time manifested it to come to you. You did all the things that required for you to have it. Love it or not, it's the case of us creators. Entertain only desirable feelings so as to impress the subconscious of that which you desire to manifest. Entertain. That means pay attention to, be joyous with them, have fun with them, welcome them, know who they are, and we're talking about, we open our homes sometimes and we welcome people, and we don't always put a name on, or we don't always put a doorman at the door to say, to check the list to make sure we were invited. So that's how it is sometimes with our desires. We just, our emotions kind of get the best of us, or get out of our control or our attention, and do their own thing, and then feelings result. And then we kind of ponder those feelings. We kind of latch onto them and wonder about them, whether they're good feelings or not. We just commiserate on them, or whatever, however we entertain them, or may welcome their existence in our experience. And lo and behold, before you know it, we've manifested something that was actually brought about by that intense feeling. That desirable feeling or feeling that you entertain. The gift of emotion and feelings. As human beings, we are, I don't know, nobody's going to argue this, we are very complicated creatures. We're designed and we're created by none other than our designer, our maker, our creator, our Father, universe, divine source. You can call that, or him, her, that power, that being, that source, by many, many names. And I call it by these, mostly by Father, or Dad, or Daddy, source, divine. They're all the same. They're all in whose image I am created, I am made. that image. We're created by and in the same image of whomever you design or whomever you name or call or refer to as your creator. And we're created, for the most part, I think that we pretty much have an idea why we're here, or we still, maybe some of us are still struggling with the purpose of our beingness, our being here. We may not always know what it is. We may think we know, and then we get on our way and have to change it. But we have an inkling. We know that, that all of this is for some purpose. We may not know what it is, but it's for some purpose. But I'm going to tell you this morning that without a doubt, whatever your purpose may be, whatever it is that you come here to complete, finish, to do, one of the things that is without a doubt, and you can take this to the bank. I don't know how much money you get for it here, but you get probably a hurrah, hurrah from all the angels and your spirit guides. You are here, we are here as reflections of our source. That's who it is, that's it. We're reflections of our source. And sometimes, believe it or not, that shadow gets in the way and we get confused. But under that shadow, and even in the midst of that shadow, we're reflecting our source. But we're certainly complicated creatures nonetheless, because our maker is complicated. What do we know? We know just an inkling of the truth and the just the beingness of the great I am. And we're learning something and getting an understanding of that being, that source, our maker, our creator, our father, our universe, divine. We're getting an understanding of that absolutely each and every day of our lives. We have the opportunity to anyway. Whether we focus or turn our attention to that, go in and seek more understanding. But Father divine, your creator, your maker, reveals to us absolutely every day, whether we acknowledge that's what we see and what we're witnessing, what we're experiencing is Father, is divine. It is. Everything is Him. Everything is God. We are learning so many things about just our being human. And basically, our life consists of many, many things. Our experiences consist of many, many things. We are physical beings. We are mental beings. We are emotional beings. And of course, we are spiritual beings. And those are I call them the components, the aspects, the characteristics, the dimensions of who we are. Who we are. And they are also the dimensions of our maker, our creator. One of the dilemmas we face as we attempt to learn and understand our humanness is just understanding what and who we are in regards to those components, those our physical selves. We're discovering every day something new about ourselves. I understand. I was reading a few weeks ago that there's a new part of our DNA that they discovered, and they're trying to figure out what it's supposed to do. Well, there's a lot of part of us that they're trying to figure. We're all trying to figure out what is it for. We talked about earlier that there's no mistakes. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a reason for being here. I understand, and you probably know this, that we only use a very small portion of this big brain in our heads. Just a portion of it. Why in the world would Creator give us all of that excess? We're still learning. We're learning about our physical selves. And not to mention our minds. That's a whole different story. We don't know. Where in the world is, what is memory? We're part of the brain or the body or the whatever. Where is that located? How can we put it under a microscope and look at it? Where do the thoughts come from? Where do they go? Talk about synapses in your brain and all those kind of things, but what are synapses? How do they get clogged up? They say Alzheimer's has an evidence of problems with that pathway that our thoughts go. Where do they come from? What do we remember? So mental. We're learning about ourselves mentally. And emotionally, we're gonna talk about that today, emotions. But emotions are just, that's something that we don't even want to talk about. We don't want to look at those. We're just beginning to, I think, with I'm going to call it, quote unquote, the new age. I think that we are moving away from some of those things that we were taught as children and back in the day to do or not to do. We're taking another look at those, which is good. A lot of new age get a bad rep sometimes, but I tell you what, new age gives you something new to think about, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with new, because we are presented with new mercies and new graces absolutely every day. So I consider a new thought, a new train of thinking is also a part of our grace and mercy. So we're constantly looking at trying to put ourselves under a microscope, understanding all the bits and pieces and parts of us. Spirituality, I didn't even touch on that one. Spirituality, that's oh my goodness, we've taken that one to all kinds of levels. It's according to which denomination or church you sit in, you find a different perspective on spirituality. I'll tell you mine. I'll quickly tell you mine. Is that basically it is my source, my connection, my connectedness with my maker. And then that part of that complicated maker that I'm a part of. So if I want to get to know myself, I know that I have to maintain that connection with my source, go inside, because they said, in our inward, inner man affects or creates or brings out our outer man. So from what we see outside, what we have discovered and present to our inside, from inside. I wanted to play something for you, but I think I'm going to go past it. This morning, like I said, I want to invite you to join me to look at that component, emotion, that we were so early in our day, in our years, our formative years, we were taught a different kind of approach to our emotions. Some of us may have been somewhat unique. I had a few exceptions here and there. But for the most part, I was taught, suck it up. Get over it. Stop crying. Stop being a baby. You're just too emotional. You're too emotional. Nobody's going to hire you, woman, because you're just too emotional. Sensitive. Big girl. You don't be crying. And you're so sensitive, Hillary Clinton. We ain't gonna elect you and put you in the White House. Okay. You might have one of them bad days. No, we ain't gonna do that. We were taught that. We were taught to suppress, deny, avoid every possible thing, but acknowledge them, observe them, be attentive to them, know what they are for. The brain is another matter. We got, the brain is, is pretty complicated. But what's complicated about feeling something, feeling an emotion? What's scary about that? What is it? What is it? What is it that was so fearful of our emotions that we were taught all those, I'm going to call it controls of taking care of, handling, or dealing with, managing your emotions. Management and control are two different things, and I have a hard time going through documentation, because I think that one of the things that I noticed, that most of my research, when I'm researching about emotions and recommendations from psychologists and like doctors and the powers to be, people that make and provide information for us to live and operate our lives in, they call it control. You just got to get in control of yourself. You got to get in control of those emotions. You got to control them. have a problem with the word control so much, because I don't know if it should be that strong. I think that managing your emotions should probably be enough, right? Rather than trying to control them. Because first of all, you're still trying to figure them out. You're still trying to get used to being okay with them. Trying to reason in your mind and in your heart and in your self what mom and dad said, and aunt and uncle and school teachers and other folk told you, as compared to, but I got these feelings. And if God makes no mistake, then, there's got to be a purpose for them. And I'm not sure if Father, Creator, designed them to be controlled. Maybe He did, I don't know. But I always go to my understanding of Source and God and Father for direction when I have a question about stuff that differs with what I've taught and what my heart and my gut and my intuition is telling me. I go directly to Source. And Source has helped me to come to understand that it's not so much controlling your emotions. It's to acknowledge them and understand that you can manage them. Right? Because your controls may not be, we were taught to deny them. That's control. Avoiding, that's control. Yeah, it's not working very well. And some of your doctors will tell you that. You've got to be able to allow your emotions to be. Don't try to run away from them and hide them, because it's energy. Emotions are energy. Energy is meant to move, unless you're a chair or a book or this phone. Energy is meant to move. And that chair's not going to last too long, by the way, not forever anyway. It's got its expiration point. But emotions basically is energy. It's energy, and it's energy that must move. All right? When you and your feeble when me and my feeble, physical, weak little self try to hold on to or do something with it, because that's what control means to me, is do something with it rather than manage it and allow it to process, then what I'm doing is I'm stopping it. I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to stop its natural flow. You ever saw a dam or water that you try to put a cork in it? And more pressure that comes down from the top of that cork, eventually that cork is going to pop right out of it, and away it goes. I have to save the talk for the hazards in controlling your emotions. I have to save that for another talk. But basically, I will tell you that if you don't want to do that, you don't want to avoid your emotions. Most of our problems that we face in society today is because of our lack of understanding, our lack of awareness, and our lack of conscious management of our emotions. Illnesses, sicknesses. If energy doesn't move, it's going to become solid. It's going to become hardened. Right? Sometimes you get that knot in your stomach. Got those diseases, that ulcers and stuff. It's from somewhere along the way you've stopped something from flowing. Just FYI on that. So this morning I want to talk about 3 benefits, or 3 parts of the gift of our emotion. Okay, 3 of them. There's many probably, but these 3 are particularly of interest to me, and I think that they're a good start for us to move away from thinking that we should continue to avoid, suppress, neglect, and all the other things that we've been taught to do with our emotions. So the first one we got to talk about is that emotions and feelings provide us with information that our mental and our physical, and even our spiritual dimensions, or those characteristics of ourselves, do not or cannot provide. want to talk a little bit about that. Number two, we're going to talk about that emotions connect us with each other, with of the other three dimensions of ourselves, with the environment that we live in, with the things that we manifest and bring into our lives. They connect us with those things. And the third thing I want to talk about is that the third part of that gift is that feelings, emotions is probably, well, no doubt, they are your greatest creative tool.
Say that again, your greatest what?
Creative tool. Creative tool. And we'll talk about a little bit about that, but let me just say that without emotions, we could never, ever create or manifest anything. You could think about it all day long. You can't think a thing into being. You can get it started because it starts with a thought. But if you want to make it happen to you, if you want to magnetize it to you and bring it to you and connect all the pieces and parts behind the scene to get it to you, then you got to put some emotions and feelings in it. That's the stuff. That's the glue. That's the magnet that brings and holds your manifestation and your creations together. God used it. Creator used it to create everything we see. You think, you believe, trust me, he had the feeling and emotions about everything, every part of his creation. Absolutely including us, because we're the apple of his eye. But God has, your creator has feeling and emotion about absolutely everything. If he did not, if he had not, if God had not, if the power had not, the source had not. I kind of always hate to give God a gender because God is God. But had God not had a feeling or an emotion, energy that moved about it, it would still be a thought, an idea in God's, whatever God uses for the mental dimension. Yes. So, let's talk about the information that emotion provides us. First of all, let me make sure that we understand again. I want to make sure that we understand that emotion is energy that moves. Emotion is energy that moves through your body, in your body, through your body, and hopefully out of your body. Because if energy gets stuck in there, where you're trying to suppress it and avoid it, it's going to cause some kind of problems for you. Okay? All right? So energy, understand that energy moves. And this movement movement of this energy is actually sensations that we feel. So the energy is emotion, and it happens, and it moves into our body, into our experience. We feel it as a sensation. You think about it, and we have all kinds of sensations. We have sensations that feel like they're contracting, that knot in your throat, or that knot in your stomach, the belly that you get. It's a contraction. Those are uncomfortable feelings. We're told to, that's what we try to, we're told about avoiding, so that's the first one we want. So we don't like what makes us feel uncomfortable. But it's a message in it. Then there's this feeling, that warm, fuzzy feeling that expands, love, joy, happiness. You want it. You want it all. You want to hold on to that one too and just keep it. But that too has to flow because it's energy. It has energy. I kind of laugh at that one because, that's one that you want to hold on to, but it's such an expanding feeling that it just blows right away from you. You can't go on to somebody else, or I don't know, it moves. Because you got your arms open, you got your heart wide open for that. So it goes in and comes in, it comes through and it goes out. But our contractions, we don't want to feel that. So we ball ourselves in a knot and hold on to it. Trying to avoid it. We avoid it by holding it, huh? Wrong thing to do. We have to be as open with the contracted feelings, those sad feelings, the hurt, the pain. We need to be as open with that as we are open with receiving the joy. And then there's a feeling that kind of starts sometimes somewhere in your face, and it just kind of goes up your face, seems like it just kind of travels up with heat, that warm kind of feeling, that heat. Yeah. It could be anger sometimes. Or it could be so much intense love that you don't, you want to go take a shower. But those warm feelings, those feelings that we get, they are strictly messages. The sensations the energy that comes, it's triggered by something that you saw, heard, witnessed, experienced, and it caused a contraction. If it's something that makes you sad, well, you want to process it. You want to understand. You want to first, of course, be aware of it. I got this tight thing going on in my belly. And what is causing it? Let's ask ourselves that. Let's observe it. Let's don't clench and hold on to it tightly. Let's remain open so that we can get the understanding and the message from that tightness, that pain, that discomfort. Who is it? I think Rudyard Kipling says we should treat joy and pain and happiness and all the other things that we don't want, we should treat them the same. Because they are, again, their energy that should come. You acknowledge it. You decide whether you're just going to watch it ebb on through, flow on through, or if you want to understand it enough to get the message that it's bringing you and do something about the message. You don't do anything about the feeling. You get the message and you manage. That's how you manage that. You get the message and you go on with it. The second one was, I think that was only pretty much everything I wanted to say about that. The second one was that emotions connect us with other parts of ourselves and the environment in which we live in and just the physical world. And identifying that particular aspect and identifying and connecting with the other aspects of ourselves, our mental, our physical. For instance, when we think about thought, we think about that, and for reasons and yet to be understood, totally understood by me, it's like we have a tendency as a human race, humanness, and in our humanness, we put a priority on our mentality. You think about that? We got colleges and universities and school systems to educate you and to cultivate your mind. That's what we do at schools. We teach ourselves that decision making and our thought process is much more important than feeling, that emotional process. We're taught that. The proof is in all the universities and all the curriculums and, But again, you cannot think yourself into anything without the other dimensions of yourself, and particularly your feelings. If you got something going on in your feelings that's kind of a little warped and off-centered, and you haven't got a grasp on it yet or an understanding on it, or you haven't developed the ability to understand how the power of positive and affirmations and confirmations as opposed to worry and fear and all those other negative processes that keep us, stop us. They're obstacles to our growing and manifesting and creating in our lives the things that we want. So as far as it's our mentality, if we give ourselves and others the freedom to experience a range of emotions, as we allow and expect ourselves and our children to be able to process a decent thought and decision, we'd be much more powerful than we could ever imagine to be if we put that same criteria on being emotionally intelligent as we are mentally intelligent. Because nothing is going to be created or manifested without the partnership of your feelings. So if we would give ourselves the freedom to experience that wide range of emotions, good, good ones that make us feel good, and those that make us want to just kind of ball up and hide under the bed or whatever. The expanding ones, the contracting ones, the ones that heat you up. If we just get an understanding, an awareness and an understanding of the fact that they're energy and they need to come in. You need to observe them, you need to name them, you need to understand what they are, get the message, and manage your life, your situation, your experience according to the message that you receive from that. And let it go. Let it flow on out. Okay? And if you don't quite get the message and you don't quite process it, just don't hold on to it. Just let it go. Because chances are, if it's a message that source, God, your Father wants you to get, guess what's going to happen? It's going to flow on around and it's going to make that circle, and that situation and that experience is going to come back to you for another opportunity to do it and get it right. Don't build a wall in there to stop it. Let it go. I can't deal with this today, but you know what? I recognize you. And I know you're causing me pain. And I know it may have something to do with, you know, the incident that I had that happened with my son's teacher last week. I'm thinking about that, and I know that knot comes up, and or I'm worried because I got to make this presentation to my boss tomorrow. Every time I have to do that, I get this choked up feeling in my throat. Could it possibly be that I'm afraid? Is there something I can do about managing that? Because I want to be able to present effectively, productively. Don't hide it. Don't pretend it away and jump out there in front of your boss with just choked up knot in your throat and bundle your promotion. Or just maybe luckily get by it. But guess what? If you did not manage and take care of the situation that caused that lump, it's still there, by the way. It just eased up because you got distracted and something else has distracted you, but it's still there. When the opportunity comes back again, it's going to remind you, I'm still here, baby. You stopped me. I'm still here. We observe our feelings. We observe our emotions. We try to understand the message that they give us. We try to see why we have them, and we try to respond to that. If there's something I should do to make my life better. Even the happy ones. What can I do to make this feeling come back again? And, you know, make it maybe last a little bit longer. I want to keep it though, because I know it's a feeling. It's got to go. But what other situations in my life or experiences can I create or manifest or bring to my life that I could have the enjoyment of that same kind of energy to come again? That's that whole process. It requires understanding your feelings, so it's going to take the mentality. That's the connection between your mind and your feelings, right? You have your feelings. You make a conscious decision about your feelings. That means you participate in the process. You participate, you're managing it. You're being aware of it. You're not stuffing it. You're not hiding it. You're not pretending it away. You're not avoiding it. You're not trying to wait it out. Because trust me, you can't outlast the energy. The last one I want to talk about, and that's going to be the last one, and it is that emotion is our most, well, it's our greatest, the greatest of all creative tools. We need all of them. We need all of our dimensions. We need to have them to work, to be balanced human beings, to be balanced creators, to be balanced manifestors, to be balanced I ams. We need the collaboration, the collective efforts of our physical self, our mental self, our emotional self, and our spiritual self. But if you take one of them out, then it's not going to be balanced. But if you take out emotions, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. In his book, Feelings, is the secret, which again I highly recommend. It's got a wealth of tidbits of information that would help you understand your emotions better and understand the importance of your emotions. Kind of show you how they work. You know, I kind of gave you kind of a bird's eye view of it, but that book is just awesome. It's not a really big book, but it's a good handy book to keep around. in the process of you learning and understanding the importance of managing your emotions. It's a good book. But I want to read this passage from the book for you. He says, quoting it, "Sensations precede manifestation and is the foundation upon which all manifestations rest. Be careful of your moods and your feelings, for these are the unbroken connectedness between feelings and your visible world. It's unbroken. The energy's out there. The energy is making the connections that it needs to make with whom, to whom, whatever is required to bring into your experience, what you asked for, what you created, what you desire, what you wish for, because you've done it. You've added that energy that moves. You've added feelings and emotions to it. So it's going to go out there. And if it takes one person, 10 people, 25 people, the whole United States to do it, it's going to reach us. And we're going to do our part to bring to you what you desire and what you wish for. But if you're holding on to it and you're worried about it, you're just stopping it. You're detaining it. Let it go. Feelings, energy is meant to move. It is all basically our thoughts. It begins. It begins with our thought. But we must have the amplification of our emotions and our feelings. Our thought, we're going to think it. It's always an idea. It's always everything that we see, everything about our life is a thought, is an idea. But if you see it, if you're witnessing it and experiencing it in your external world, trust me, you put some feeling behind it. You put some emotion behind it. You put some energy behind it that moved. And that's why you have it and experience it today. Emotions are a gift from God. And they are indeed good gifts, whether they're good feelings, expanding feelings, warm and fuzzy feelings, or whether they are contracting feelings, sad, painful, disappointment, resentment, fear, all of our feelings, all of our emotions, no matter what they are, bring a message to us. And these emotions that you would rather deny, rather do without, rather avoid, rather suppress, I'm going to ask you, they're gifts. They're gifts. Treat it like a gift. Treat it like a gift. We always maintain that feelings are lessons. And again, we should maintain that feelings are lessons. And in that lesson, we want to learn it. And the thing about your Father, think about your Maker, think about your God, think about Source, you're going to get it in this life, or in the next life, or in the next life. The lesson's going to keep coming into your spirit man, your inner part. That inner man is stirred up enough that it's brought it out for you to experience it in your reality, in your life. It is the expression of emotions in our connectedness, the relationships that always validate not only our own personal emotions, but validate the emotions of others that we encounter, that we relate to, that we're connected to. Remember that in relationships, it's a two-way street. You can't relate. You got to relate to something. Even if you relate to all of your inner workings, it takes two to relate, at least. So you understand that you're using your energy in that connection. That connection is, again, the glue, the magnet that brings and holds yourself to everything else about you. That brings into yourself all those desires and wishes. So feelings is emotions, and emotion is energy, and energy must move. Energy is magnetic, energy is cohesive, energy is collective, energy is connected. Everything has a certain frequency about it, and the secret is, I think Neville will probably point this out in his book, the secret is you put the energy, the frequency of the energy out to the universe. And once you send that energy out, it's going to attract and magnetize to you the same energy. of that which you desire. So in closing, I just want to kind of point out, or I want to say, back to our theme for today, or our thought for the week. Everything is energy. Entertain only desirable feelings, which is emotions and movable energy. Entertain them. Don't hold on to them. You know, when you get a guest in your house, you don't want to keep them forever. You know, so entertain your guests. Entertain that. Get everything you possibly can understanding about it, and do it in a way that it impresses your subconscious of that which you desire, so that your subconscious will be the director of that energy to make sure it gets to where it needs to get, so it can get back to you what you've desired. I'm done with that. I hope you guys got something from your gift of your emotions. And if you get an opportunity, I'm going to continuing this particular series on the energy as our personal power with the Conscious Creators Toolbox.
What did
And
you just say about subconscious before I get subconscious? I got down there where you once you put the emotion out there.
your subconscious is the director.
Okay.
Your subconscious directs that energy to whomever, wherever
So we want
it
to
needs
put
to go.
that in our subconscious so that it would go.
You want to stir.
Yeah.
I call it stir it up
Stir it
yourself.
up.
Stir up
Okay.
yourself. Stir your. You know, sometimes you have to do your own emotional stirring. You know, you have to make your own stuff happy. You know, I was watching a little something with Oprah the other night, and one of the things that she does, and I kind of like to imitate that. She likes to just dance around and just be crazy and silly, till she can't do anything but laugh at herself, because laughter is, you're talking about some serious moving all over the place kind of energy and frequency. Yeah. So sometimes we have to stir ourselves up. And when those energies come to us that we're not quite ready to deal with, but knowing that you're going to have to deal with it at some time, just, stir yourself up. Stir yourself up. Not because you're avoiding it, because you've recognized it, you've admitted that it's there. So let it flow on out. I don't want to say chase it away, but let it flow on out. Because the opportunity for you to really handle it, maybe you need a few days or some time to kind of meditate on it and kind of figure it out. But it'll come back. An opportunity will come back. It may not look exactly the same that this wouldn't happen. But my whole point is, don't deny it. Don't suppress it. Don't avoid it if you can. Acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge it, I think that energy will be happy, even if you haven't managed it or did something about whatever. But it knows. Because it knows that if you manage it, if you do something about it, when it comes back, it's got to be for a different reason. It's got a different lesson. Thank you so much for your attention, and I am so done.
Thank you.